The coronavirus pandemic took a toll on everyone, people from all walks of life. Many lost their jobs. Millions of individuals and families lost their loved ones to COVID or other illnesses during this time. Unfortunately, some families did not get a chance to say proper goodbyes to their lost loved ones. That blanket of grief is extremely heavy. Many are still reeling from that trauma. Individuals who have witnessed trauma prior to this pandemic, whether in their childhood or their adulthood, they found themselves in a very similar state of helplessness, therefore leading to this sudden surge in anxiety and panic. While many of them had either healed or were in process of healing from those traumas, PTSD during the pandemic became a whole different challenge. And then there was one group of individuals who saw the most challenging, scariest, and the most unexpected times of their life. And those were our young adults, individuals in the age group of 18 to 25. And this is a message to those brave young men and women. I often hear older adults talk about how impulsive this age group can be. They live in a world of their own. They don't care what happens to others. They're so self-absorbed. But what I saw of them in this last year and a half as a behavioral health provider and mother was completely different. This age group left me mesmerized, amazed, and so very proud of them. I felt this hope, a conviction that the world will be a much better place in the hands of these brave people. No doubt, in our psychiatric practices, we saw a sudden spike in the number of the patients in this age group for obvious reasons. They had never experienced or felt anything like this before. No one had prepared them for something like a pandemic. They had never had to spend so much of time alone, facing their thoughts and anxieties head on. Some had just graduated from their high schools and were so looking forward to starting a new life in their colleges. Many of them were excited to leave their parents' homes and be independent. They were dreaming of living with new friends, finding new connections, exploring the world on their own, and pursuing their dreams. How exciting can this time of life be when you know that you no longer have to live by others' rules, having more choices, more freedom, new dreams. All of this can create a sense of enthusiasm and a sense of being alive during this time of the life. But all of a sudden, with absolutely no warning and no preparation, our young adults found themselves in a complete state of confusion, disappointment, and helplessness, as if someone just slammed that door to this new exciting world that they were so looking forward to. No in-person classes or graduation ceremonies, no hanging out with friends, no meeting new people. Life just came to a complete halt for them. There was a strange silence that filled their world. Some found themselves crammed with 3, 4, or just 5 people in tiny apartments with very little privacy. Most had to move back with their parents under the same old rules, or rules that were still unclear, as many of the parents found themselves in a similar state of confusion. College goers were asked to leave their dorms and return back home, that too within a day or two's notice. That separation from friends was indeed devastating for many of these young folks. Moving back in with parents after they had gotten so used to living entirely independent lives was no fun. For some who came from abusive or traumatic backgrounds, moving away to college meant the end of that trauma and the beginning of the healing process. One can only imagine the state of helplessness, anxiety that they must have felt now that they had to move back to that same triggering atmosphere or continuation of the same abuse. But luckily, this generation showed far more courage than their older counterparts, the so-called baby boomers. Many of them sought help. Some reached out to their local crisis centers, others to their health insurance companies, local therapists, or online therapy agencies. As a psychiatrist and a mother of a young adult myself, I was in awe of how this generation took charge of this sudden shock that they found themselves amidst the pandemic. The way I saw them handle the stress, despite all the hurdles they faced, made me realize that how wrong we older adults are in our assessment and doubting the potential and the capabilities of this age group. Not only did they just hang in there, but they exhibited enormous patience. The way they reset their mindset and reorganized their lives around the pandemic was heartwarming and worth an applause. It was not an easy task for students to attend Zoom classes for hours on their laptops. This was definitely not what they had signed up for when enrolling themselves in their dream schools, but most of them were able to finish their credits on time somehow. Unfortunately, those who had to drop out due to whatever situations, whatever reasons, still got the hang of things. Some of them decided to take it easy, and which is all okay. Some found jobs, some chose to join their family businesses. Some of the students, they just decided to, help their families or watch their younger siblings and help them with their schoolwork. And some of them decided to focus on their mental well-being. Either through therapy or medications, they decided to take accountability and make mental well-being their priority. They learned healthier ways of coping. They became aware that these times are new and different for them. They became in tune with their inner self and discovered their own personal challenges, and also how they are naturally gifted with skills to handle adversity as human beings. Imagine the excitement of having to celebrate graduation with your family and friends, walk across that stage to collect your diplomas. But this time, they had to settle with the virtual graduation. My own daughter graduated from college of her dreams this spring, and I was so proud of her to see how she and her friends made the best of this virtual live stream graduation instead of an in-person one. She and her friends, they took some pictures in their academic outfits, and even though there was some sense of disappointment, a sense of loss for not being able to witness all of this in person, but they were still able to make the best of it and create some everlasting memories. Yes, most of these young adults struggled initially. They got anxious. Some of them were sad. In fact, a lot of them were sad, frustrated, and even confused. Many of them got consumed with worries about the future. But then watching them handle these disappointments and find gratitude in whatever was in store, stay connected with their friends in so many creative ways, proved how grounded and emotionally intelligent they can be. I just hope that they continue to recognize their strengths, their potential, and feel equally proud of themselves, for they have what it takes years of mindfulness, practice, and patience to build in a given individual. They're not only intelligent and tech advanced, but equally creative, forward-thinking, flexible, accommodating, respectful of each other's differences, diverse and open-minded. And I can go on and on about this. And they already know this about themselves. But this pandemic also proved that they're gifted with an innate ability to bounce back as well and be resilient. And it's okay if many of them are still struggling with uncertainty, anxiety, or any other emotional challenges. But I don't have any doubt that they all will handle this. They dare to seek help. They do not shy away from showing their true self to the world. They're authentic. And guess what? Waters may be a little harsh right now, but they will sail through with pride and grit and hope for better times, a better future. When they look back at these difficult moments, they will say for sure, hey, since we survived this pandemic, we can survive and thrive in whatever future challenges life has in store for us. And that was the reason that I wanted to make this video for this wonderful crowd of people we call our young adults. I again want to remind you all that you are worthy, way more capable than you or anyone else out there thinks of you. And I want you all to be proud of yourself. This is Dr. Riyaz, and I hope you will take good care of yourself and keep dreaming for a better future and a safer future. So long.